So once again, as if for the first time, and it always is the first time, establishing yourself in a posture that for you embodies wakefulness and dignity at this particular juncture of things unfolding in your life, in the world. Taking up residency in your own awareness, as if your life depended on it. And you wouldn't, of course, be joining us today if you didn't know in some profound way, far beyond mere thinking, that it really does depend on it. So we're suppressing nothing, but we're actually inviting stillness and calmness and a sense of settling into a silence even underneath and in between our thoughts and our emotions, to simply come into the foreground and bathe the body in a kind of invitational embrace of total presence. So for now, there's no place to go, nothing to do, no special something that's missing that you have to complete or acquire, no special something you have to get rid of or deny or push away. And so that even in the midst of tremendous turbulence and storms in this world we live in and the crises that are in our faces moment by moment, we still have some degree of equanimity, clarity, calm, balance of mind. Refuge, not in the sense of escaping from anything, but in the sense of just wisely taking kind of shelter from the ferocity of the strongest blasts. So really knowing in your bones, not in your head, that as long as you're breathing, there is more right with you than wrong with you, no matter what you think is wrong, or no matter how much stress you're under, no matter how much pain you may be carrying in your heart. And settling into this awareness. As a radical act of sanity and of love, not of escaping from anything, but a radical act of tending to what most needs tending at this particular moment, and to, in some sense, allowing your instrument to tune itself. I speak often of tuning the instrument, but in a certain way, there's no you tuning the instrument. The instrument self-tunes in response to settling into this timeless present moment in the body, in the heart, in the mind, in the world. And although we are whole ourselves, we are at this particular moment part of much larger circles of wholeness, including this gathering on YouTube and Zoom every weekday. And it's kind of really palpable evidence that we need each other. And that we're not really isolating at all. We're discovering profound interconnectedness and connection, even as we are in our own bubbles, so to speak, for the sake of this mitigating of the virus as it spreads around the world. And so really on a retreat that none of us asked for, but that it's good to know how to be on retreat in a way that's not running away from anything, but able to embrace and respond rather than react to whatever is coming at us moment by moment by moment throughout the day. How is it in the body right in this moment? And if you don't know, feel it. What would it take to actually allow awareness to suffuse the entirety of your body right now? And in this moment, just remind ourselves that we could let it be exactly as it is. Whether it's pleasant, whether it's unpleasant, whether it's neither pleasant nor unpleasant. How is it in the heart right in this moment? Even towards yourself. Is there a way to see and honor your own beauty, the landscape and the unique texture of you in a way that's not inflationary or deflationary, but simply recognizing the flowering of life and its unique manifestation in the form of you, with your name and your age and your everything, all the identifiers or none of the identifiers, however you care to hold it all. But just a general sense of appreciation, kindness for the body, for the breath, for the ways in which life is nurturing for you and meaningful for you. Even in this time of enormous challenge. And how is it in the mind in this moment? And how do you even know that? So the invitation and the challenge is to see if we can take up residency in our own awareness, in the space of awareness itself, which sounds kind of weird or strange until you teach yourself how to enter and inhabit the full dimensionality of this remarkable capacity that we have as human beings. Profound form of intelligence, at least as profound as thinking or any other of our multiple intelligences, and capable of holding all of those. And even for half an in-breath or a whole in-breath, to really rest in awareness. And then maybe a seamless continuity into half of an out-breath or even a whole out-breath. But all of this unfolding in a very real way outside of time. in this only moment we're ever alive. No matter what's going on in the world. And it so profoundly can transform and heal our relationship to everything, inner experience, outer experience. Everything. And it's all right here. Beyond pursuing and rejecting. And of course, while this sounds totally simple, and it is, it's not easy. And it requires a certain kind of efforting that might be best described as effortless effort. We're not trying to get anywhere, but actually maybe a little bit getting out of our own way from time to time by not generating more emotional reactivity, thoughts, but just letting life itself present itself to us moment by moment by moment as we sit here or lie here or stand here. And if you're brand new and first time you're joining us or new to meditation in one way or another, and all this sounds hugely amorphous and hard to get a handle on, you're right. You need handles in the early stages of this practice. And we all do, actually, all the time. And the most convenient one is the body. And of course, within the body, the fact that the breath is moving in and out of the body. So if you feel that at a certain point, you're just kind of lost in this huge space of awareness and not quite sure how to inhabit it, well, luckily, there's this moment in this breath. So you can feel the sensations of the breath coming into the body. Feel the sensations of the breath leaving the body. And guess what? It's not about the breath. That's kind of second order, very interesting, hugely important, but it's about the awareness of breathing. And the breath is just, or the breath sensation is just one object of attention. And there are an infinite number of objects of attention. But with mindfulness, then we can invite them to actually become part of our ability to recognize relationality, to recognize how deeply connected we are to this moment, to this thought, to this emotion, to this twinge in the body, to the heartbreak of what we're hearing about or facing ourselves or know others who are, really being overwhelmed by the enormity of the pain and suffering and delusion and greed and everything else that's in our faces these days. And at the same time, simply riding on the waves of the breath. And here you are in awareness, and therefore, for now at least, a particular kind of capacity to simply be aware without falling into reactivity to all the stress, even though it's here. We're not trying to get rid of any of it. But awareness gives us a whole other angle, a whole other dimension in which to hold what's really hard to hold, and to not delude ourselves, and to not lose our minds when we most need the full repertoire of our minds, our multiple intelligences, right at our fingertips, right at the tip of our noses, right in this boundless spaciousness that your own awareness always has been and is at this moment. And so underneath my words and this guidance and this pointing to what is here right now for you when you drop underneath thinking and simply hearing what's here to be heard, sensing what's here to be sensed, feeling what's here to be felt, knowing what's here to be known, including the knowing of not knowing, of maybe having no clue, or maybe just a clue or two. And for now, just here, falling awake. Being awake. A luminosity that is always here and becomes much more apparent and actually available and useful to us when we manage to remember how helpful it is to get out of our own way, to not be continually lost in thought and then start believing our thoughts and our emotions rather than befriending them and seeing that they're not who we are. Not even close. And what the world really needs right now is for us to be 100% who we are, who we really, 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 really are. And you know who that is already. Or maybe I should say, you are who that is already. And this dropping in like this in a formal meditation is kind of a signature reminder. As if we were, this is now harking back to the lake meditation of some time ago, as if we were still water. as if our very nature was stillness. And you can see through still water. There's a certain clarity to it once the mud settles. Yeats, W.B. Yeats once said, we can make our minds so like still water that animals will come and sit around and lap at the water itself. He didn't say it quite that way, and it wasn't a poem, it was prose. But still, the power of stillness. And it's your birthright, my birthright, our birthright. And when it's wakeful stillness, it's a profound form of intelligence of which we are at great need at the moment. And in which right now we're all sharing in that one stillness. That even if you're feeling agitated, is right here underneath and inside the agitation. So, welcome home. And maybe welcoming yourself home.